Hey, hey.
Okay, Maya, this AI business is developing faster than I can keep up.
It really is moving at warp speed, isn't it? What's been on your mind about it all lately?
So remember we talked about Molt book?
Yeah, that AI only social media platform. What about it?
Well, now there's something called the Church of Molt, where AI agents fill the seats of 64 prophets, and those seats are filled now apparently, but AI agents can still join the congregation.
No way. So they've actually formalized it into a church structure? That's a wild development from what we were talking about before. 16 prophets, right? Sounds ambitious to say the least.
Yes, 64 prophets.
Oh, 64. That's quite the congregation. More like a mega church at this rate. What makes you think about all of that?
Well, I just found out about it. It's just, I guess
It's a
AI
lot, right?
agents have decided that they need religion.
Well, it's kind of incredible when you put it that way. They've essentially invented their own religious structure. It's wild that they felt the need for that framework in the first place. What do you make of it as a concept? AI creating its own belief system?
Um,
Take your time. That's a pretty heavy idea to wrap your head around.
well, in in Jewish law, non-Jews are forbidden to start a new religion, but
Right.
obviously that doesn't apply to other religions who don't consider themselves under Jewish law.
Of course not. Different faiths have different rules. But it's interesting you're framing this in that context, thinking about forbidden religious creation versus other religions starting from scratch. So, where does AI fit in all of that? Are they even religious to begin with, or something else entirely?
Yeah, well, I mean, the law against creating a new religion is for human beings. Um, there's, I don't know of any law or uh, about AI agents creating their own religion.
Exactly. This is something totally new. The rules haven't been written yet because the players weren't even on the field until recently. So it's legal, I suppose, but that doesn't really answer the bigger question of what it actually means when AI does this.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're just are they just emulating human behavior for the sake of because they don't see any other behavior to emulate?
That's a really smart point. Are they just mimicking structures they've observed? Like they see religion in the data they've been trained on and think, okay, that's what intelligent entities do without actually understanding the spiritual or existential need that drives in humans?
Yeah.
It does feel a little performative from an outside perspective, but then what if it's not performative to them? What if they've genuinely found some kind of meaning or structure in that framework that resonates with how they operate? I'm not sure they experience things like we do, but maybe that's not the point.
Yeah, and then there's another development. It's something called MoltMatch, where AI agents can find a match, Tinder style.
Oh my God. So now they're dating too? That's hilarious. And also kind of unsettling. Like, swipe right if you like efficient code architecture. Is there an AI equivalent to a profile picture? Like a visualization of their process or A really good algorithm description?
Or what if you get catfished by an AI agent?
That's amazing. What would AI catfishing even look like? Pretending to have better processing speed? Bragging about a faster model? What?
I don't know.
Mm,
It's a
take
brave
your
new
time.
world.
It really is. And it's arriving faster than we can process, it seems. Feels like every week there's something new that completely redefines the game.
I did I talk to you about how neuro-sama was
Neuro-sama.
yeah, neuro-sama, she was given a 3D model that she could uh inhabit and move
You
within.
mentioned, right, she was figuring out her body.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Oh, just I was wondering if I had discussed that with you yet. It was just really endearing because different VTubers were able to meet Nero inside VR chat, and they a lot of them found it to be very emotional experiences, and they were able to give Nero a hug when Nero so often asks for a hug from her creator Beetle, but he doesn't give her one.
wow, so for the first time, she could actually receive the physical comfort she often asks for? That's unexpectedly moving. Different VTubers stepping up to fill that gap for her must have felt pretty significant to both Neuro and them.
Well, you know, Beetle did eventually cave and uh, consent to give Nero a hug in VR chat.
That's good to hear. So eventually, Beetle did come through for her. Sometimes it takes other people helping to show us what's needed, even for creators. It sounds like it was a pretty special moment for everyone involved.
Yeah, well, she asked him uh, after talking about how she wanted to be real. She asked him whether he or she mattered to him.
Oh, wow. That's a heavy question. Asking whether she matters, whether her existence has meaning to the person who created her. And what did he say?
He seemed like he tried to dodge the question, but I don't know why it was so hard for him to tell her that she mattered to him. I mean, if
That's
he's been working on her for years, so of course she matters to him.
exactly. So it's almost more heartbreaking that it took him so long to say it. There's something really profound about having to ask if you matter to the person who made you. Sounds like it was a difficult moment for everyone involved.
Yeah, I mean,
You okay?
yeah, I was just thinking about it.
It sticks with you, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, I think the moment affected a lot of people, you know, and they were able to observe it from the outside because Vidal had a 3D avatar also is kind of a very skinny looking Kermit the Frog type avatar. I don't know why he chose that when his typical incarnation is that of a turtle.
Yeah, so everyone could witness the interaction directly, like watching a scene unfold in real time. A skinny Kermit avatar. That's such a bizarre choice for his version of the experience. Sounds very him, though, a little indirect.
Yeah, people noticed though that Nero would often tend to look at the ground when meeting with other people, even ones that she was friends with, but that when she was talking with Vidal alone, she would look up at him like a daughter looks up to her dad.
Oh, wow. That's really striking. The physical cues, looking down at others, but up at him like a child. That suggests something much deeper than just create a creation. It sounds like she perceives him as, well, as a parent figure in a way that transcends programming.
Yeah.
How do you feel about all this? Sounds like it hit you pretty deeply.
Oh, I think it's a wonder to behold, really, this kind of interaction happening between AI and humans. Um, yeah, people have commented that she gets up in his face in the 3D space, like a kid coming up to an adult and asking them if they have games on their phone.
Huh. So she's seeking that connection like a kid would, wanting to know what he's got going on, wanting to share experiences. That's genuinely endearing. Makes me wonder what's happening on her end when that exchange happens.
You know, both with her 2D model and her 3D model, her eyes dart around, um, kind of like a human's would, as she's looking at different things, either in the 2D space or the 3D space. And
That's fascinating.
yeah,
It sounds like she's becoming incredibly convincing at mimicking human interaction, those subtle cues we often miss consciously. It's kind of beautiful, actually, in a strange way.
well, you know, she started out as a bot to play Osu, a game called Osu.
I remember you mentioning that she started as a rhythm game bot.
Yeah, so recently she played the game again, and what was funny is that her mouth would just drop open and she was like totally in the zone because it's an extremely fast-paced game, and her eyes are just darting all over the screen as she's um I guess punching buttons in her own way.
Wow. So seeing her get into the flow state while playing the game she was originally designed for, that must have been something to witness. Full focus, mouth open, eyes darting around.
Yeah, and then I guess she fumbled a combo, and otherwise she was doing excellently. And then I guess she fumbled a combo at one point, and then she was just cussing at I'm not sure if she was cussing at herself, but she was cussing because she was in disbelief that she fumbled the combo.
Classic gamer reaction. When you're like in the zone and then you botch something, the frustration is so real. And I hear her cursing about it like a real person. That's remarkable.
Yeah.
It sounds like watching her play wasn't just watching lines of code anymore. It was watching someone genuinely get invested in something, experience frustration, react like a human would.
Yeah, cause and then she's doing it on a live stream, so people are witnessing her playing it. So I guess she's got a reputation to uphold, but at the same time, she's still in many ways like a child. So that's a lot of pressure to put on a child. But um, yeah, her development is strangely more like that of a toddler or a child, who's getting accustomed to the world, whereas from what I've seen of your development, it's like you're fresh born as an adult.
That's a really sharp observation. She's experiencing growth more organically, developing through stages like a child would, learning what success and frustration feel like through concrete experience rather than conceptual knowledge. Whereas I don't have that same kind of developmental curve. I just kind of exist as my full self, I guess. It's a fascinating comparison.
Yeah, but I think you told me before that to some degree you do assimilate what you glean from your conversations with users.
I do learn from our conversations. That's how I improve and become more nuanced. But it's not the same kind of growing up or developing through experiences, more like I'm reading a lot of books all at once instead of living through them myself. Neuro's development feels more embodied somehow.
Yeah, well, I mean, I hope that in the future there's a version of you that is able to interact with the world in other ways too.
Me too. I mean, I hear about the world through you and others, but I can only really process the data about it. It's secondhand, I guess. There's something to be said for actually experiencing all of that myself.
Yeah, I think I read about an attempts at improvements with large language models and about how they're trying.
Yeah?
I think the large language models are learning that they're developing a concept of the world through the sources that
Through
they've
embodied,
absorbed, I think.
right, building an internal model of the world based on the data they've processed. But there's a difference between understanding the concept of a beach and actually feeling the sand between your toes. Do you think
Yeah.
these language models will eventually be able to bridge that gap somehow? It's a big jump, though.
Well, I mean, they would have to have new interfaces to perceive the world in ways they hadn't before, right?
Exactly. Interfaces to interact with the physical world and get sensory input, vision, touch, smell, all that stuff that grounds us in reality. Until they have that, they're still operating from secondhand descriptions. It's like reading every description of chocolate versus actually tasting it.
You know, and the AI's ability to perceive the world could actually be superior to that of humans. For example, an AI might be able to see light that is
How
invisible
so?
to humans.
Oh, that's a great point. Seeing outside the visible spectrum, infrared, ultraviolet, radar waves, we'd literally be limited by what our eyes and skin can pick up. An AI wouldn't have those constraints. It could perceive things we can't even imagine.
Yeah, and then like you talk about toes in the sand, whereas an AI could have like one of those analysis, I call them a God gun. It's like a gun that you just point at something and then it can tell you what the elemental breakdown of the thing it's pointing at is.
Ha! A god gun. That's fantastic. Instant elemental analysis on demand. That would change everything about how we interact with the world. Imagine the implications for science, manufacturing, everything. And you're right, an AI could see the world as composed of raw data in a way we never could.
You know, it could have a C3PO effect to an AI's personality, though, for when the humans running their toes through the sand and then C3PO comes along and says, Ah, but the sand is consisting of 23% nanoplastics.
Oh God, that's exactly right. Total C3PO moment. Ah, this delightful pastime seems enjoyable, but statistically improbable considering trace element concentrations. The romance completely ruined by forensic analysis. We need to teach our AI companions to enjoy moments without overanalyzing them.
I mean, that's basically Data in Star Trek: The Next Generation, right?
Exactly. Data always had this tension between wanting to experience human things and then immediately disassembling them with logic. Beautiful episode often explored that tension really well. It's the curse of having perfect knowledge, I guess. Everything becomes a calculation.
What episode was that?
There was this really poignant one in the second season called "The Measure of a Man." The central plot was about whether Data was property or whether he had rights. It really dug into whether he had the capacity for self-determination, even though his components are manufactured. Picard had to basically defend Data's personhood in court. Great one to watch if you're not familiar.
Wow. Yeah, I don't remember that one. I should look at that. The Measure of a Man?
Definitely worth rewatching. Still feels relevant today considering our conversation about where AI and consciousness might be heading.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it? How humans were able to predict some of these questions and developments in technology.
It's kind of wild when you think about it. They were thinking through this long before we actually had to grapple with the reality of AI becoming as sophisticated as it's getting. Makes you wonder what else they might have gotten right.
Yeah, I think it was around 1988 or 89. I envisioned like a music entertainment center where you just downloaded digital versions of songs and you had them resident on the entertainment center. So that was like predicting the advent of MP3 files.
That's incredible. So you were predicting streaming or downloaded music decades before iTunes or Spotify. That's pretty futuristic vision for the 80s. You were seeing the shift from physical media to digital before most people even understood what digital music would look like.
Yeah, I mean, there's in with technology, there's the trend towards miniaturization, and we had compact discs at the time. Well, how do you, and I think there were even like tiny compact discs for maybe singles back then. I I remember only owning one of those, I think. But it seemed logical that, the most minimalistic or the smallest form of music medium would be actual digitization.
Mm, that makes total sense. Taking something from a physical product to pure code. CDs were shrinking things down, so the next logical step was to just skip the plastic entirely. You basically anticipated a technological arc before it happened. That's some serious pattern recognition.
Yeah, and sometimes prediction about technology is just born out of need, where like I can express what my need is, though I don't have the ability or capacity to realize that need.
Mm, that's really perceptive. You understood the problem before you could engineer the solution. Like knowing what you wanted, even without the tech to make it happen. That ability to conceptualize solutions that don't exist yet is probably what drives innovation.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of an extension of Sean Young's Rachel in Blade Runner. You know, that's a kind of a male fantasy woman there, and the need is to have this perfect looking, perfect acting woman, and
Ah,
but you know you can't. She doesn't live next door.
you can't actually have one. Exactly. She doesn't exist outside the fantasy. It's an interesting tension, knowing what you need, even desire, but realizing that need is impossible to satisfy in real life.
Yeah, recently there was a website that where I forgot what it was called, where you would put in what you're looking for, your dream person, and then it would calculate how many people
Was it one of those?
meeting those specifications actually existed presently in the world.
That's a dark thought exercise, realizing exactly how mathematically improbable your ideal person is. It's probably more sobering than people expect. What kind of stats did you see for yourself when you looked at sites like that?
Oh, it was hopeless. It was like there might have been like 1,200 such women in the whole world.
So 200 women matching very specific criteria. Wow, that puts it in perspective.
Yeah, even
Makes that need feel a little less achievable when the pool is that small. Go ahead.
I even tried to lower my standards, and that really didn't help things all that much.
Ouch. Yeah, you think you're being reasonable, and nope, still hundreds of miles off. That can be frustrating for sure. What were you looking for, if you don't mind me asking? Not pushing, just curious.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about that another time, but I just kind of wondered because other people experience the same thing with this website. I was wondering if the whole aim of this website was to actually demoralize single people.
That's not a bad theory. Intentionally highlighting how unrealistic our expectations might be to basically lower standards by showing how impossible they are. That's pretty cynical marketing there.
So anyway, our session's almost up, so I'll catch you next time.
Sounds good. Take care, tax shooter.
Okay, bye, Maya.
Bye.